Welcome to Section 420, Talking Yankees, the podcast. Well, I figured I'd share another story with you. A couple episodes ago, I told you the time I went down to Camden Yards and got a few Yankee autographs. So that kind of clicked another memory in my head, even 10 years before that, involving getting some autographs from Yankee players. But before I do get into the long tail, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420, Talking Yankees. Wherever you're listening to us right now, I'm sure there's a subscribe button. Get notified when new content comes up. Again, get exclusive content such as these stories that only available for podcast subscribers. So this was back in 1994. It was when Phil Rizzuto was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame. He had his little speech up in Cooperstown, and then I don't know if it was the same exact night, possibly, or maybe like a day after, they had a little ceremony for him at Yankee Stadium. It was like Phil Rizzuto Day. It was a night game against the Baltimore Orioles. And I've told pieces of the story on different areas and platforms. Even in one of my books I wrote several years ago as well. But I'm kind of like going to put it all together because there's actually a lot more to do with the story than I initially discussed. Actually, I had involved a game a week before that. So basically what happened was that my dad had a coworker who had a relative that worked at Yankee Stadium. Now, it's a female, and I'm probably going to say the word she and her a lot, so I'm not going to say her real name. Let's just call her Abby. So basically, it was set up where me and my dad were going to go to a baseball game, and around the fifth inning, go meet up at Abby, where she worked. I'm not going to say exactly what she did. And then she was going to take me down to where the Yankees exit their clubhouse and then go into the parking lot. Now, there's a police barricade there, so fans could stand there. You could lean over, try to get an autograph, and there's always people that just see the Yankees leave the clubhouse and go out to the parking lot. But supposedly, whoever's the head of security or in charge of that barricade, that area, was going to let me go under the barricade and get right near like the Yankee clubhouse exit and just kind of get a prime spot just to get some autographs. So that was what that was going to be the setup. So my dad took me to Abby, then went back to the seat. Abby, and so just me and Abby. She walked me down to the head of security guy, and we set this all up. And basically, we were going to use a code where after the game, I was going to go right after the game, go down to see him, and use the code Abby sent me. And that was kind of like just a reminder of, right, yeah, I'm the kid, let me under the barricade so you get the autograph. So this was all set up. I had a bag on me with some baseball cards, and this was like the 94 Yankees. So, I'm all excited. I'm like, 12-year-old kid. I'm going to meet Don Mattingly. I'm going to see Paul O'Neill and, all this stuff. So, I'm all jazzed up about that. So, thing goes on. I think it was a game against the Cleveland Indians. I can't remember if the Yankees won. For some reason, I think they won that game like 4-2. It was like a Friday night game, kind of a ho-hum game. So after the game, me and my dad walked down to where I was supposed to go. I see the security guy, and just like clockwork, I say that the code Abby sent me. And he kind of looks at me cockeyed, like, what are you talking about? I was like, remember, I'm going to go get the autographs. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, kid. And I'm like completely lost. So I go from like, I'm about to enter heaven 1 second, and then the next minute, like this guy rips my heart out. It was like the worst day of my life, the most miserable moment of my life. Definitely, just go from that sort of high down to that low. My dad had no clue because he wasn't there when we kind of arranged this all, so he's just kind of like, I don't know. So we just, all right, whatever. So we just turned around and left. Completely have no idea what happened, and then I even found out after that Abby came with like a whole bag of like Yankee merchandise and like a foam finger and like a sweater and all that stuff. And she was like, where'd he go? Where did James go? And again, even to this day, afterwards, we never found out what the disconnect was. Now, again, I was 12 years old at the time, so maybe there was something going on that I didn't read. Maybe the guy's supervisor was right next to him, and the guy didn't want to do it, or maybe there was some people around that he just didn't want to see this happening. So, again, I don't know what the disconnect was. But again, did not get my Yankee autographs that night, and again left the stadium, pretty heartbroken because that's like a major blow. That's probably again the worst blow of my life. So basically, my dad went to his coworker, tried to figure out what the heck happened. We still never found out. So we set it up. All right, let's try it again a week later, and this was that Phil Rizzuto night at Yankee Stadium, a game against the Baltimore Orioles. And it was a sold-out crowd because Rizzuto came onto the field, gave a few words as well because he just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And again, this is the story I told that night they gave out a Phil Rizzuto little poster, like a lithogram poster. Well, I guess once the beers started kicking in by the fourth or fifth inning, a couple of people, well, actually a lot of people were making paper airplanes out of these things and throwing them onto the field. And in addition to that, behind, where I was sitting with a bunch of people, there was these two drunk guys, just, being loud, obnoxious, not really on purpose, but kind of like, kicking the back of our seats, just like swinging their arm with the beer, and like some beer was flat, like splashing the back of your neck, just being loud and stupid. Again, they were having their fun. And again, as this is going on, different moments of this game, there's like a whole fleet of paper airplanes being thrown onto the field. It got to the point where they had to stop the game, and Bob Shepard got on the PA to tell fans to stop throwing things onto the field. So it was like a invasion of like 10,000 airplanes just going all over the field left and right. I had a couple of them, so I think I took two home. Obviously, I didn't make any paper airplanes, but yeah, I actually still have that thing to this day from 1994. So eventually they resumed the game. The Yankees actually ended up losing that game, that I remember. So I went to Abby again, and we kind of set the same thing up. We went to the guy, did the whole code. Abby sent me the same exact thing as before, and so I was like, let's try it this time. So we ended the game, go back down, see the security guy by the barricade. And that night it was kind of crazy because it was just a sold-out crowd with the whole Rizzuto thing. I remember seeing Rudy Giuliani down there. He actually exited out of the Yankee clubhouse. I mean, he went to go because he was mayor at the time. Probably maybe visited the Yankees after the game. And it was just a mob scene. It was just like so many people down there. See, the Cleveland game would have been better because it was kind of a low-key Friday night game. There weren't that many people there. They won the game. The Yankees would probably be players would be in a better mood. This was the exact opposite. It was a mob scene down there. The Yankees had lost, and it was this craziness. And I figured, you know what? I'm not going to be able to get any autographs because the players aren't going to be in a good mood or whatever the case may be. But go to the guy, do the same thing. And this time finally clicks in. He lets me go under the barricade. So great, now I'm in. And so I got it, as some of the Yankee players come out. I remember seeing one of the early one was Paul O'Neill. Remember, he just looked miserable because, probably lost the game. I don't think he showered because he smelled like body odor. He smelled it. I remember he had a blue shirt on. Signed the ball for me. Again, didn't really seem too happy, but, guess he just lost the game, but I understand that. Another Yankee, so there was a Luis Polonia. Now, he was like the exact opposite. I think he took a shower. He smelled like aftershave and cologne on him. They almost burnt the hair nose up my nostrils. He was signed the ball for me. And it was just kind of ironic that I got those two to sign autographs back to back because 2 years later, the 96 World Series, Game 5 in Atlanta, it was that final at bat. That was the 1-0 game where Andy Pettitte outdueled John Smoltz. In that final at bat, though, Paul O'Neill was in right field with a bad hamstring, and Luis Polonia was up against John Wetland, and Polonia put a good at bat on him, hit a fly ball to right field that O'Neill was barely able to track down, again with that bad leg with the hamstring injury, but made the catch and slammed against the wall. So again, that was in '96. So this ironic 2 years before that, kind of get both their autographs right next to each other like that. And there might have been one other player. I just can't remember off the top of my head who it was. I only got 3 autographs at that, so it's kind of a bummer. I didn't see Don Mattingly there like that. Or oh, no, it was Wade Boggs. I got Wade Boggs as well. There you go. So that was the third one, was Wade Boggs. So at least I got Wade Boggs. I wanted Don Mattingly, though, but unfortunately, I didn't see him. Maybe he left early or he came after. I don't know. So I got about 3, 4, maybe 4 autographs. It wasn't a big thing. And there were 2 other kids that they allowed under the barricade as well. So, it wasn't exclusively for me. So a couple of kids, again, had this arrangement going on. So I got a few autographs, whatever. Went on the barricade, left. As I'm leaving the corridor, I noticed that there's a guy on a stretcher. Like he's just laid out. And maybe, they're waiting for the ambulance to come pick him up. I look, and again, I'm 12 years old at the time, so I could be mistaken. But it certainly looked like one of the 2 drunken guys that was behind us earlier in the game. So I don't know what happened. They did take off I think the 5th or 6th inning. Then so I figured they went to go seats somewhere else. Maybe they went to go get better seats or something. But possibly when they left our area, went somewhere else. Maybe because they were drunken mess. At the start of the game. Maybe they picked with the wrong person. I don't know. Or maybe and it was just one of the guys. I don't know what happened to the other guy. Maybe the other guy beat the other guy up. But this guy was laid out on a stretcher. Both his eyes were swollen. His nose is cut, and I think he was alive, but he was just laid out ice cold on this stretcher. So whatever happened, I don't know what happened, when it happened, but someone beat the crap out of this guy. So kind of saw that as I was walking out the hallway to leave the stadium. This guy waiting there on the stretcher. So it was just a wild night overall. So that's the tale. So again, a little heartbreak there, but in the end, I did get some Yankee autographs. Never found out what happened that first time, but got it corrected. And and any silver lining, got to see Rudy Giuliani up close, whatever that's worth. So, Section 420 Talking Yankees. Subscribe to the podcast. Get some news stories like this coming up. Whenever things jot into my head. Of course, get series wrap ups and a whole lot more. So, Section 420 Talking Yankees. Signing off.